Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily. I am your host, Pearl, and this is the Audacity Network. Today, I have a special show for you. So today is election day, and I want to give my thoughts on the election, what I think is going to happen, and the direction that this is going to go. But before I do, guys, please go to theaudacitynetwork.com. That's theaudacitynetwork.com. I created the network in order to combat demonetization. So if you can, go get a $10 a month and $80 a year membership. This helps fund our documentaries and bring guests on the show because we are demonetized and that's our only way of making money. On top of that, I also read the chats that are from the website first, and oftentimes we'll do after show episodes where I react to different things and we just have like a post show party. So it's fun. Okay, so today I'm going to go through some of the trending topics. So there is a woman that is on Twitter or TikTok, and she's going famous because I guess she railed or had sex with 100 guys in a day. And her name is Bonnie Blue. And let me show you guys a video of her talking. And I guess a lot of married men cheat with her. Let me show you. Oh, hold on. Let me turn the sound off 1 second. Okay. Let me go back. Hold on. Let me go to the link again. Oh, here. Okay. Can you hear it? I can't hear it. Okay.
Cheat on their wives with you.
100%.
Why?
Because when
What is that? That's so loud. Okay, try again. Okay.
And cheat on their wives with you.
A little louder now. Okay.
I think it's okay that men cheat on their wives with you.
100%.
Why?
Because women are lazy. If you ask the average person when's the last time your wife went down on him, they're going to say it's ages ago. The other thing with women, they want women's rights and they want things equal. But then they're the ones that want the bills to be paid for. They expect their guy to go and earn more money than them. Then they also want that guy to come home, clean the house, look after the kids. So it's like you can't expect someone to do all of that. And then you're not even going to do the bare minimum, which is go down on them. So when they're not doing that, I offer it free.
But do you think that's okay?
Well, yeah, it's a service they deserve.
So do you think that you're saving marriages by sucking cocks?
Yeah, because then they're not having like an affair, like an emotional connection with someone.
Well, it is an affair though, isn't it, really? Would you cheat in a relationship?
Possibly. These husbands are telling their wife, like, I'm not happy with how things are in the bedroom. Guarantee you those wives are just going to kick off. Like, they don't ever take any criticism well.
Okay. I never thought I would find myself agreeing with a sex worker, but a lot of women do not sleep with their husbands and then are surprised when their husbands cheat. I don't know what you women expect. I really don't. And what we're going to keep seeing is we're going to keep seeing sex work become more out in the open. It starts on social media and it starts to drip into more regular life, right? We're starting to see politicians that used to be sex workers, including one of the ones that's running today, may as well have been one. So that's a trend. It's not going anywhere. And let me play some other videos by this crazy lady. Okay, so now the women, so she stated on social media that she wanted to have sex with a bunch of 18-year-old, freshly out of college or out of high school men. And as you guys know, the age of consent law is 18. I think she's either in Britain or Australia. That's the age of consent there. And essentially, the women all got very mad at this and started protesting her and saying that she needs to be put in jail, even though the age of consent law in that country is 18. And this was her response.
So for other comments saying I should be in prison or I'm going to be arrested for this, the fact I even state in the sentence barely legal and the main word being legal, what are you going to arrest me for? So, hey officers, come my way.
Okay, let me play a couple more.
If you don't agree with it being 18, go to Parliament, stop, get out my comment section. When they're coming to me, it's pre-planned. So they've already thought about it beforehand. They have to fill in two.
But it's interesting because this is a strategy that women use against men, right? Women will tell men that if they date an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old, a 20-year-old with a big age gap, they will put that he is a creep. He is a pedo, right? So that's a strategy women use against men to shame them for dating younger. And now it's interesting because we're actually getting to the point where women are getting Me Too'd, right? Where women are getting accused of being predators, where women are being treated like men in certain situations. And my prediction is if the laws ever become more fair, it will be from women complaining. Not that this is necessarily a law that needs to be changed, but you can see the trend of women being treated closer to men.
You have to fill in 2 consent forms. You have to bring ID. So they've already been able to think about it a lot and they're fully aware. Like it's not a shock on the day, oh, I'm going to film it. They're aware they need to film it and it's in a controlled environment. You can't be drinking beforehand. You can't have done drugs. So when you think of a safe environment, it's the security on the door as well. So it's sort of, what about it is unsafe?
I guess it's the knowledge of, how well informed they are. It's the knowledge that this is online forever.
Yeah.
And if they are 18, they've just left school.
But what's interesting is feminists don't have a problem with women starting OnlyFans at 18. But whenever there's anything that benefits men sexually, that's when feminists come for them, right? Because obviously if she's sleeping with their husbands, if she's, I hate to put it like this, but if she's saying that women should be better in bed, the women have to come and attack her because she's saying that women have to actually do something when they're married.
They have the maturity to be able to make those kinds of decisions.
Yeah.
Because that is a huge decision. Your sex tape being online.
But again, I see there are 18-year-olds online that post half-naked pictures on their Instagram. It's not even uncommon, right? Even, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, it was crazy for me to see women in thongs at the beach. Now it's like any beach you go to, you see a group of young women wearing them. That's the trend. So whenever it's something that benefits women, or there's some draw to women doing it that makes it better for them, like they make a lot of money or they get access to high-level men, feminists never have a problem with it. But whenever there's a benefit to men, that's when there's an issue.
Your sex tape being online for good, and like, let's be honest, you are earning the money from that.
Yes.
I guess it does beg a kind of power dynamic of are they mature enough to consent to that? I guess that's the big question here.
Yeah, 100%. The thing is with that then, it's if we're saying 18 is too young to consent, they need to change the law. Do you know what I mean? Like if the law's 18, I'm going to abide by it and I'll go for 18. If they change it to 21, I'll up it to 21. So when people have got an issue with that, they're sort of just putting their other problems on me. It's like, if you don't agree with it being 18, go to Parliament, stop,
Okay, let me put the next one.
What was it like after cleaning up after?
Oh, so one thing that I heard when I was doing my interviews with a bunch of different sex workers over and over again that surprised me was how supportive their parents were. I thought that if you were a sex worker, you had to have daddy issues, that your parents had to have abused you. Maybe you didn't have a dad in the picture. And much to my shock, that was not the case. So her mother actually helps her film this stuff. Now, I know this is online. Maybe it's hyperbolic, right? But all of the trends start online and they see. So it starts online, then it goes to the city, and then it seeps into the country. That's the way things move.
Messy. Hundreds of
Oh, wait,
condoms.
hold on. Let me go back.
Messy.
Like after cleaning up after bang.
Messy. Hundreds of condoms. Boxer shorts. Tops. Stained bed sheets. Wet bed sheets.
So even when you hear, that she slept with 158 guys in 2 weeks,
It's just part of a job and that's it.
so you don't have any kind of, emotional response to it.
At first I did, but not anymore.
Bonnie, when you told your parents what you do, how did that conversation go?
I actually didn't tell him. A video got leaked. I would have always told him. I'd only just started, so I wasn't ready to explain why I've chose to do this job.
I was gutted at first. I really
Really?
was. It was shock, but it was just a shock 'cause it's something I never thought she would do.
What has Bonnie achieved doing it in your eyes?
Well, where are you going next month?
Yeah, we're going on a really nice holiday.
So her making all that money, how has it affected you?
We've had nice holidays and nice gifts, but that doesn't bother me. She's happy, so I'm happy because she's happy. If she wasn't happy, but she's happy, she's safe, making lots of money.
Yeah, so now we have mothers, and we're actually even seeing the trends of mothers doing OnlyFans with their daughters. So it's not just, I mean, in this case, she's just helping with the cleanup and the film at you, but the other trend is that mothers are engaging in this with their daughters. So this is her with the men that she,
Okay, so I've been.
I guess she had sex with like 100 men in a day, which is crazy to me, but
Okay, so I've been so busy bonking students, and now it's time for the dads and the older brothers to have a go. So, dads, are you ready to bonk me?
Yeah.
I am one lucky girl.
but you see, as women are sharing men, right? So we sleep with like 10, 20% of men. There's a growing number of sexless men. That's where we're getting this OnlyFans epidemic. That's where we're getting all these women that are sugar babies. At some point, as we raise our standards higher and higher as women, and we say there's only a certain level of men that are qualified, which is what collectively we've done, you are going to see an explosion of sex work. It's not going to be abnormal for you to have your children go to school with parents that used to be sex workers. It's going to become more normal than you think. And I know that sounds crazy. People always think I'm a doomer, but I just have eyes. I see where these trends are going. It starts on social media, then it goes to the city, then it seeps to the country. Okay, so the next story was a woman that went viral on social media. And I just thought this was the dumbest post I've seen in a while. I gotta be honest. I don't know what I am because, I consider myself conservative, but I like to be a realist. And I see these women talk about how they want to go back to the 1950s, and I just don't believe them. I'm going to show you guys the clip, and you tell me what you think.
I would love to be a stay-at-home mom. I would love to be a homemaker and a wife. I would love to be able to live on a homestead and go milk my cow and take the eggs out of the chicken coop and have one baby in the belly and on my hip and another toddler coming behind me. That's like my dream, but I can't fucking do that because the way the economy is set up is I'm forced to work. I'm forced to get an education.
Okay. I'm getting tired of this. Did anybody put a gun to our head and say, hey, you are forced to go to college? Yes, ladies, take out $100,000 in debt for a sociology degree. Did anybody make us do that? No? I mean, I think most people were pretty excited to go to college because it sounded fun. And so many times women, we act like we had no hand to play in this, or we were tricked by feminism, when really we just had the choice of fun or kids. And most women picked fun over kids. It's not right or wrong, but I just see these clips and I think, No, that's a choice, right?
A higher education, a college degree, in order to make enough money that I can be financially independent and afford my own home or my own rent or my own gas or my own groceries, my own insurance. And it's extremely difficult to do that. And it's very isolating as a woman when you have to do all of that all on your own and you can't find somebody that you can outsource some of those chores and financial responsibilities like you would with a spouse.
So how, if you're tired from, I'm just looking at her and I just can't, can you imagine her doing farm work? I don't know. I could be wrong, right? I just don't get the farm work vibe. Like, you guys know that farm work and taking care of cows is much more difficult than taking care of yourself and an office job. I don't know. I mean, maybe she's a plumber, an electrician. I don't know. But I don't think her dream is really, I think sometimes women see like pictures of a cow on Instagram, right? And some woman in a flower dress and they think that's their dream. But I mean, you can volunteer to work on farms and get a job doing that. Like, that's an actual job you can. Now, I personally wouldn't do it because I don't have a desire to live on a farm. I don't. And I don't think most women do. So this idea that I think women want homesteads, but they want other women to do the work of the homestead or other men. They want to own like a ranch, but then have someone else do the work, you know?
House. So no, being a single working woman absolutely sucks. It's the worst thing ever. I hate it. I would go back to the 1950s in a second just so I wouldn't have to deal with this shit.
Now, this is how they trick men into this. Being a young working woman, we get to live our life like a rock star. And men are kind of wising up. They're noticing. They're like, it's so terrible. What do women have a tendency to do? We have a tendency to go out to nice dinners. This weekend, I went to a Brazilian steakhouse, right? And there were so many groups at this steakhouse of women going with their friends. They're going together, right? And I'm thinking, how are you paying for this? Most women have average jobs, right? Human resources, assistants, $45,000 a year, living in an apartment in the city. On top of that, women are the majority of travelers. So women are the ones that are going on trips. It's not really men. Women are the majority of festival goers. I mean, there's a lot of perks as women that are average looking can get invited to high level parties with high level men. She might not be good looking enough to get invited onto the yachts, but if she's got a good looking friend, she could be the plus one. You know, we get invited to concerts. We get invited to all of these fun things by men. So this idea that now the difficulty is as we get older, the perks get less and less, right? So it's difficult for us as we age. And once our beauty's gone, all the perks are gone, right? But we kind of get together to see collectively how little youth we have to give up because being a young woman is equivalent to being a rock star, especially with social media now. Especially, that exacerbates it times a million.
You're talking about a traditional nuclear family where the woman doesn't work in a married household with kids.
And statistically, that was the case.
You're a single woman who isn't married with kids yet.
So I'm for because of the way it is. Most women were married by the age of 21.
Now again, what are 21-year-old women doing? They're going to most attractive women move to the cities, right? Why do cities benefit women? Why do women want to go to the cities? Women overwhelmingly go more than men, right? Why? They get access to high-level men, and they get access to high-level events. Women tend to care about that stuff way more than men do, right?
Until the 1970s.
I think it's a woman's choice. Before that, it was societally encouraged to marry young.
Yeah, and it was better for women mental health-wise long-term to be able to go into that long-term committed relationship and have the established family instead of being forced to slave away for a
So again, I don't like forced. This is choices and trade-offs, right? One is not better or worse. I'm not saying one is better or worse, but it's choices and trade-offs. Nobody's forced to go work for a corporation. We pick that. As a 21-year-old woman, if the men your age aren't looking to get married, you can date a 35-year-old. Boom. Problem solved.
corporation that doesn't like you, doesn't care about you, makes you.
But unfortunately, especially young women today, they would rather do sex work. And, you know, guys, a lot of people think I'm over exaggerating this stuff. I have a private investigator come on my show and tell you, I can't remember the exact number, but it was like 4 in 10 attractive women have done some sort of sex work. That's not insignificant. Under 35, it's probably higher. But, you know, women can do that type of stuff just from the comfort of their own home. And, you know, you're asking women to give up living the life of rock stars to have a family. I mean, tough sell. Now, I understand it comes with consequences later, right? But I'm trying to explain the psychology of why these are the choices being made. You know, you get to go on yacht, boat, like let's say you're a young 21-year-old woman living near Miami. You can go be on boats with billionaires, millionaires, and rock stars, or you can go get married and have a family. Now, I'm not saying that women shouldn't. One's not better in the long term, but I don't think we always have the ability to think a lot of these things out long term.
Sit under fluorescent lights for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. You get a lunch break, you get health insurance, but do you have somebody who loves you staring at you every day like your child? No, it's horrible.
Now, again, I think that sounds good. Like it's horrible, right? It sounds good. It's horrible when the youth and the beauty runs out. But I'm not going to sit here and pretend. And the numbers reflect that with when women get on antidepressants. It's when, you know, we don't have the benefits of the family or the benefits of the youth and beauty. And we're out of luck, right? And to prove this, because a lot of conservatives will come at me and say that I'm not getting that it's the women on your shows, it's the women in the cities. So I started compiling a list of 75 conservative commentator women, and I recorded the age of first birth, number of children, and net worth of the husband. No, I was thinking, and the age they got married. If they got married young, they always wait until after 25 in order to have kids. Now, why do they do that? Because they're trying to, usually it's a husband that's got no standards. He doesn't make her give anything up in order to be a wife, right? He says, do whatever you want, honey. And some men are kind of pragmatic. They just say, whatever. I mean, that's the path of least resistance. I don't blame them. But they always wait to have the children until after 25. Women are 100% in control of who's born. The average age of first birth was 31. And I'm trying to compile a bigger list, but I'll tell you guys what I have now. Average age of first birth was 31. Average age of first marriage was around, I think like 29, 28. And it's older if you break it down by millennial. Like I'm fairly certain it's over 30 if you get millennials. And the net worth of the husbands was like 20 million on average. And so it proves everything about red pill correct. But, you know, I become the bad guy for pointing this stuff out. Okay. So I want to point out a couple of months ago, I received so much hate on the internet because Michael Knowles interviewed a Cornstar. So I'm going to pull up this video of Michael. I'm going to just pull up this video quick of Michael Knowles a couple of months ago brought on this Cornstar named Nala. Now, as you guys know, we've seen this tale 1,000 times where women come to church after they've lived a life of doing God knows what. So this woman got tag teamed on camera. And I'm being honest here. That's literally what she did. She got tag teamed on camera. That was what she did for a living. And with no discernment, they did a show. They bring her on all of these podcasts after not even a year of taking off of corn and said, yes, Nala, we're going to make you a spokesperson for Christianity. Now, her and her husband have started a Jesus clothing line, right? And now they're going around preaching. Now, when men see craziness going on in a church, what they tend to do is that masculine men just have a tendency to leave. They say, this is crazy. Church has become a concert and there's all these ex-corn stars. I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to fight for power. I'm not going to do all that. I'm just going to leave, right? And that's what we're seeing, especially in Protestant churches. Women have all of the power in these churches. And it's because, they come in. Now, I want to show you. Where's the part they talk about me? The controversy with Pearl. Look at this simping.
Not jump to a conclusion.
Yeah.
I had a very big, I wouldn't say issue, but it was a very controversial video that she made about me.
And what did the video say? It said, guys, I don't know if I'm going to trust an ex-corn star. That she did an overnight conversion. Maybe let's wait until she does some work. Maybe just a little bit of work. Could we require, maybe a test on her biblical knowledge to see if she's actually reading her Bible before we give her all the praise of, guys, when she went on this show, she didn't even delete her OnlyFans yet. She had raised the prices. And the reason she was doing that is because she's trying to convert her followers to Christian followers that follow her and now make her money off of TikTok. But if she couldn't build this following, do you guys, because if the Christianity was the most important thing, she would have good answers to her understanding of Christianity. I'm going to get to.
And I had to just pray. I needed.
There we go again. My favorite Christian woman shaming tactic. I'll pray for you. You know what? When women tell me that they're going to pray for me, when you're using God as a way to insult me, like a backhanded insult, I would rather you just tell me to go F myself, because that would be more honest. When women do that, I really want to tell them to take their prayers and shove it up. But I have a new leaf, so I'm gonna
pray, because I felt like I was getting heated about it, and that wasn't the right attitude to have at all. Like, I really wanted to respond more in kindness than anything.
That is the time to put away Twitter, or X now. The moment you start to actually get angry, put it away.
Put it away. It wasn't even, I deleted my Twitter. I don't have Twitter. I didn't know I was being.
I want to find my comment. You did not do your homework before this interview. She was baptized in December of 2023. Video of her talking about her marketing plan was in January of 2024. Raised OnlyFans prices 4 times between January and May. Caught selling nudes as recently as this week. Restricted her OnlyFans and did not delete it for now. Her followers can still see it. Why are you guys pushing a former corn star and not reporting on the facts? Because she is lying. But it's really interesting. I don't know why we give the benefit of the doubt at every possible turn. It's so crazy, because she got caught selling nudes and she said, well, it's the agency. Well, you don't think before you go on a major platform, you would think to yourself, let me just make sure all this stuff is shut down. You don't think maybe that should be a requirement? No? Okay.
Spoken about on Twitter at all. I had just watched her YouTube video on me, and it was, I couldn't even finish it.
Because I don't believe you. And anyways, I'm going to play the rest without getting triggered. I'm going to play it.
Because there were so many loose ends, and I don't want to say it this way, but lies, outright lies being said about me that I felt the need to correct. But that was like my flesh. My flesh was like,
right.
you know, that's wrong. Like I'm
okay. Now a good journalist would have maybe, I'm pulling up the chat on my phone, guys, would have maybe said, okay, what is she lying about? What are the facts? What are the facts that she's lying about? Did he do that? No, it was the ultimate simping. It was the ultimate simping, Michael, and I'll never forgive it. I'm just kidding. It's not that deep. But ultimate. This was the CEO of simping. This was like a simpocalypse. And everybody came at me. Everybody. And only because Pearl, I had to be the bad guy and say, and look, I'm not here to be a spokesperson for any religion. Please, God, don't make me do that. That's, you know, there's better scholars and people that know that's way better. I'm not here to, but I just kept thinking, is there any discernment here? Any? None?
I don't know why I'm being perceived this way by this woman who's never spoken to me, never reached out to me. And I am only now in her eye because of my change, right? And she does say that she's a Catholic.
Yeah, I don't know that she assents to the doctrines of the Catholic faith.
Really? Okay, now, look, here's the thing. Do you know what I'm not going to say? I'm not going to sit here and have a God off. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm this holy woman. You guys know me. I'm not doing that. But okay, let me get this straight. You're going to say I don't ascend to the Catholic faith while giving the benefit of the doubt to a Cornstar? Really? Oh, this simping hurt me. It hurt. This hurt my soul, guys. Oh, this hurt my soul. I couldn't believe it. But this is men across America. This is what I found out. Men messaged me after this where they get yelled at in church because women don't like their tone. And the women in the marriage, the husband might yell at the wife, and then they go to a church elder, and the church elder is like, yeah, you're bad tone. And he's like, I don't know, she hasn't slept with me in 3 months. And he's like, well, maybe if you made her feel better and were more emotionally available. And the guy is like, what the? I heard you guys' stories, and I was like, oh my God, this is why the men are leaving, because they don't want to fight this. They don't want to deal with this simp apocalypse. They'll just leave. And the numbers are showing they're transcending to online, because a lot of young men especially are like more involved in online religious channels, like about scripture, and that are more in depth in terms of that kind of stuff. But the issue is we get these predators that just go into these churches. They convert for 5 minutes and they become a spokesperson. I got no problem if she wants to go to church, but aren't they supposed to sit in the back for a while? I don't know, maybe stay away from the other married men, because she did used to say she likes to sleep with married men. Maybe I'm crazy. And by the way, I did invite her on the show. So I did invite her. So if she wants to come talk to me, she's welcome to. But we're going to go over the receipts. She also got Reclaim Your Thrones account deleted, who had all the receipts. He still has them. Look at crazy lady.
But as we discussed, I mean, one can go back and watch.
Guys, should I stop reacting to this? I think I'm going to get too triggered. And, you know, I do want to get to the point I brought this up, because there is a part 2 to this where I was proven right. All right, one in the chat if I should keep going. 2 in the chat if we should call in. I should go to the next thing. Two. Shane says 2. 1. All right. 1, 2. Okay. We'll go a little longer. Enough ones.
The interview.
Yeah.
But at the very least, she said this thing. I really don't mean to beat up on her for it because a lot of people say this, but she said, like, look, I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school. But, you know.
Now, this is the moral off. This is always what it goes to. I am more moral than you. Oh, it kills me. Oh, this is. Anyways.
Minute you ever hear that preface, you can be 100% certain you were about to hear the least Catholic thing you ever heard in your
Absolutely.
life. Now listen here.
Oh my gosh. I am the least Catholic, but you brought on the Cornstar? Oh my God, I'm getting so triggered. I am getting so
the
triggered.
nuns once when I was in 8th grade. And so anyway,
I was raised as a monk, but.
She's
been Christian for 5 minutes.
Was very confused when I saw it. But I said, I ought to keep an open mind. Who knows? There are charlatans out there.
Yeah.
I think you have a very good attitude.
Michael, by the way, Michael Knowles. This is my call out to Michael. I am about to show a clip that proves me right. I want an apology. Yes, I do. I want a Pearl was right. Yeah, I want a Pearl was right. That's all I want. Is that so much to ask? Is that
good about it? And it's an attitude that I've tried to take, which is, our Lord, when he's on trial and they're making up all this stuff about him.
Are we comparing the Cornstar to Jesus? Guys, oh my gosh, I'm not going to make it through this video. I'm not going to.
He just doesn't say anything. He's silent.
He's silent.
What are you going to?
So this is my theory about it. So when someone has a hot cup of coffee and they spill it all over themselves, but you're right next to them and a little bit gets on you, are you more concerned with that tiny bit of coffee spilt on you?
Yes.
Or how they are burning right now?
Right.
Which one are you more concerned about? And that's how I feel about the situation. I can be upset about that little bit of coffee on me that's barely burning me, but still got on me, maybe got on my shirt. And I'm like, but that person is in pain. That person doesn't know what they're doing.
I know exactly what I'm doing. I swear I do. Okay.
Lord, forgive them.
Right.
That's my only answer to this at the moment, because my flesh wants to be upset because of the false accusations.
What? You raised your OnlyFans prices. We have screenshots. We have video. These aren't false accusations. We saw the.
But I can't be upset. Like, my spirit cannot hold that against her, because I feel as though she may be lost and maybe hasn't received love like that I have received from Christ.
Sure. Yeah.
Like,
can you imagine being a masculine guy? Now, I'm not talking about, but a guy that really is religious and really believes in God. And he goes to church. And he really wants to get to know Christ better and find, a good woman in church, start a family. And can you imagine them bringing up a Cornstar and thinking, it's better we give the Cornstar airtime in church or have her speak instead of, I don't know, the men studying scripture. And maybe like more than 6 months of a conversion. I don't know what it is. It's like some guys will just believe every excuse. This drives me nuts.
maybe hasn't been able to experience or hasn't.
Like, we got to think, what is her incentive? Is her incentive to tell the truth, or is her incentive to lie? Which one? Which one is it? Is it, yeah, she is Saul Pearl. I hate you.
experienced it yet.
Yeah.
Or, in a long
our
time.
Lord says this too, don't worry about what goes into the mouth, but care much more about what comes out of the mouth. And this is
It's a pure representation of what's in your heart.
yeah. I mean, in the Gorgias, Socrates, another wise figure, not kind of a I think he and Plato and Aristotle actually.
Okay, I'm done. Oh, gosh. So now let's think of the incentives here. Now, what would be her reason for converting? Okay. Let's assume she wants to spread the good word of Jesus and she really had a true conversion. I'm sure the incentives would be there, right? I am sure she spent a ton of time reading her Bible. I'm sure that she spent a ton of time doing maybe charity work. I'm sure she gave all the money she made on OnlyFans back. So, not only on this podcast, and I'm going to react to the whole thing, so I'm just going to show you guys a clip today. So, not only on this podcast did she admit she did not give any of the money back, they also asked her if she would refund somebody that bought content from her before. She said no. And as a spokesperson for religion, and this is why, and guys, I'm not crazy religious, but it should be the people you guys deem as spokespersons should maybe be protected a little bit. She comes on this show in spandex, right? I played volleyball. I'm not a moralist. It is what it is. But if you're going to come on a show and be a spokesperson for religion, don't you think maybe you should dress a little bit modestly? Like, how is it that the OnlyFans woman sitting next to her, the girl that's still on OnlyFans, is dressed more modest than her? Now, again, you can say whatever you want, but we look at actions, not words. So now you guys tell me, mate, I'm not the most religious person in the world. I mean, Michael Knowles said Pearl's she went to Catholic school. It's not enough. You tell me if this is accurate to you. Ex-OnlyFans creator and Nala Ray and convert to Protestantism says she isn't a Trinitarian because Christ is God's son, but not God.
Not send Jesus to suffer for all of us?
Yeah, because he died on the cross.
Jesus is God.
Jesus is God's son. Yeah.
No, Jesus is God. You're a Trinitarian. Jesus is God.
Well, I'm not a Trinitarian. I believe in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, but he's called the Son of God because he's the Son of God.
No, he's called by John, God himself. He allowed himself to be prayed to. Jesus Christ is God.
Yeah. You can pray to Jesus, absolutely, but he is God's son.
No, he is God. The Trinity.
Then why does the Bible specifically say that God is in heaven on the throne and Jesus is at his right hand? There are two, but they are also one.
No,
yeah,
no, listen, there is one God.
What Bible are you reading?
I just like to point out to the Christians at the back who are kind of enforcing the sisterhood that Nala, right, told you that she does not consider Jesus Christ to be divine. I do. I consider the Trinity, that Jesus Christ is God. That is part of the Trinity. So to you, she refutes this. She refutes that Jesus Christ is God.
I absolutely
Can I ask you a question, Andrew?
You did. You did. Yes, you did. Oh, God.
And then I said, Jesus is on his right hand. If you read the Bible, Andrew, you'd absolutely.
Is Jesus God?
The Holy Spirit, God, and Jesus
They're
are
three in one.
They are three in one, but they're
so then is Jesus God?
Yeah, seriously, one God.
So hang on. If there's one, and the three are one, then Jesus would be what? What would be the entailment of that be?
Dude, they're one, but they are all separate parts. Because, dude, when God was in heaven, he sent his son to earth. So how could God come to earth and die on the cross from his sins? When Jesus in the garden before he was killed, he was praying to his Father in heaven.
So then they're different entities?
They're three different separate parts.
Yeah, that's a heresy.
I'm not denying the Trinity.
That's a heresy, literally a heresy.
The thing is, it's hard to debate this because everyone has a different perspective on it. The way that we were raised in school, Bible, and I completely agree with Nala.
You don't think everyone has
like
a
God
different
sent his one and only begotten
No.
Son to die on the cross for our sins, that whoever believes in him will have eternal life.
Yeah.
God remember Jesus cried out to God on the cross.
Thank you.
So
How would
then-
he cry out to himself? Because they are
Yes,
3 in 1. It's the
exactly.
Trinity. I
On the
believe in the
third day,
Trinity.
And then God turned his back on Jesus in the garden because this had to be done. So how are they like again, like she said, a perfect point. Jesus did not pray to himself and be like, let this cup pass. He prayed to his Father in heaven.
Okay, so then we're
I
gonna
learned that-
so hang on. Now, if you stop spurging, I can answer to this. So
Wow.
just I agree with you that they're 3 persons. She said 3 parts. 3 parts. Do you think it's 3 parts?
It's 3 distinct beings.
No, no. No. So I'm going to ask you again.
Lose it, bro.
Nala says it's 3 parts. Yeah?
I said there are 3 parts,
Yes.
but they are one.
Do you agree that
3 in
it's
1.
3 parts? Okay, 3 parts of one Godhead. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
You do.
There's distinct
Okay,
beings.
then
Yes.
I count 3 heretics in one whatever studio. So there you
I
go.
count 1 Pharisee. See, online.
You could
That's
say
drinking spirit
Pharisee,
water.
but there's literally nobody would ever agree with you in the heresy of the 3-part argument. I don't know why you don't understand that, but
God.
Why do you
We
understand that?
It's your Trinity. What is your Trinity?
No. That's a great spokesperson. My bad. You know, maybe I need to issue some retractions. I just wish I was more moral and godly.
I can't even hear you.
God,
It's
the
him
Father,
himself and him.
What is your
God,
Trinity?
the Holy Spirit, and the
I mean, they sound like they really have been reading their Bibles. Truly. I mean, they totally, right? I mean, totally should be an authority. She's totally done the work. I mean,
all one.
Holy shit. Listen, I
What
have
is your Trinity?
Okay, great. So you have 3 persons. You would agree with this, correct? Not 3 parts?
There's really no difference. There's just different
There's no
words.
difference.
There's no difference.
Why is a part different
they
than
not
a
have
person?
a part-
Why is a part?
I am accepting apologies. I am accepting, Pearl, you were right. I'll take tweets, DMs, Instagram
Different than a being.
messages.
Because this is one entity, 3 persons. It's essence, energy, distinction. That's where it comes from.
I can't tell if we're actually agreeing on the same topic or not because
It's so difficult. Well,
I'm
the problem is that I feel like I could explain this to you guys, right? We could walk through it a step at a time, but you couldn't spurg the fuck out every time we started to make some progress.
just like claiming to be a Christian and just
All right,
cussing.
fine. All right.
on
All right, we'll move it along.
So again, there she goes. You're not a, that's always what they do. You're not a real Christian. The Cornstars start lecturing the men saying they're not real Christians.
See, that's the thing why I don't understand why you proclaim Christ. Because in no way,
Because I
shape, or
don't
form
lie.
did
I'm
God
sorry I
come
don't
like
lie.
this.
I'm sorry I won't lie for you, Nala, in order to
asking you
feed
to be
delusion, Nala.
delusional. I'm
Sorry I
asking
won't
you-
lie to feed delusion, Nala. I'm sorry that upsets you, Nala. That you expect
Wait.
me to lie to make people
I
more
never once
comfortable,
asked you to
Nala.
lie. That's out of your mouth, not mine.
Yeah, okay,
Wait,
well then what is it that I should do? Should I lie to people to make them feel better?
No. And
Okay,
again,
well then what am I saying which is
you're saying
unchristlike?
that.
Then what am I saying that's
So for me,
unchristlike?
like in no way, in the Bible, it even talks about perverse speech, and that is a sin.
You don't
So
even know
c-
what perverse speech is
slandering
according to
people.
biblical standards. What is it?
You called me a whore. Did he not?
You are Nala.
He did.
You were. I said I'm not going to take. I am not going to take a correction from a whore. Yes, that's correct.
So my thing is too. You want to talk
You were
about
a
lying?
whore for 6 months. You were a whore 6 months ago. Now you're going to correct me on what the Bible says? Get
8 months
fucking
ago.
real. Yeah. Get
months ago.
fucked. I'm not going to take correction from someone who's a whore 6 months ago. That's insane.
You know what? That's all I need to say. You know what? I think I should guys, sign up to the audacitynetwork.com because rewatching that just triggered me again. Anyways, okay, so I was right. Pearl was right. Now, the next clip that I saw today was an absolutely hilarious. The guys are posting as Kamala workers going door to door trying to get illegal migrants into Democrats' houses.
We're looking for a place for them to stay. I dressed up like I work for Kamala's campaign, and now I'm gonna deliver immigrants to her supporters.
We are voting for you, don't worry.
Are you? Of course. We do have a surprise, if that's okay, just real fast. We're looking for a place for them to stay. They just came across. They'll sleep on floors. I mean, they're not picky, you know.
We have like a 2-year-old, so
Hector's good with kids.
sorry, we just can't.
Could they just like sleep on your lawn? They need a place to stay. They just came across.
My teenagers live with me.
Oh, that's fine. Hector, he was dating a teenager like a little bit ago, so.
Okay.
They just came across. They don't have papers. You're in support of like the whole border situation, and we're just trying to get them a floor to sleep on. Do you guys want COVID? They said they could survive it.
We work with her, so we know how to say her name.
Earlier you said Kamala. Way she pronounces her name is Kamala. You don't work with her either.
See that car? We have 3 dudes who just came across the border. We're trying to find them a home.
Find them a home.
Just say I'm voting for Donald Trump without saying it, okay?
That's a wrong attitude, mister. I said my vote is private.
So you're voting Kamala?
No. You said it again.
Why didn't they
I dressed up
sign
like I work for Kamala's
I mean, they want
campaign, and now I'm
all
gonna.
of the poor people to live with illegal immigrants. Why don't they? I mean, it's not their neighborhood, so sign up. Why didn't they? Super crazy. Okay, so the next story today we're going to go through. Guys, this is one of the craziest stories I've heard in a while. I think this man has a death wish. All right. Equatorial Guinea arrests official for 400 sex tapes involving presidents' sisters, VIPs' wives. Baltasar Ngonga, the Director General of the National Financial Investigation Agency in Equatorial Guinea, has been arrested after the shocking discovery of over 400 sex tapes involving the wives of prominent individuals in the country. The tapes were found during a fraud investigation where officials conducted a surprise search of Ngonga's home and office. The sex tapes stored on CDs revealed his sexual encounters with high-profile women, including the wife of his brother, the cousin and sister of the country's president, the wife of the Director General of Police, and the spouses of 20 ministers. The footage, which has since leaked online, was allegedly recorded with the consent of the woman. Local media reported that the scandal has sent shockwaves across the nation. Some of the encounters took place in Ngonga's office, with one scene reportedly showing him engaging in sexual activities next to the national flag. He is said to have filmed these scenes with the consent of the women themselves, which exonerates him from a possible crime of violation of integrity. In the videos, he's seen having unprotected sex with several women, including those married to powerful and well-known people in the country, but also the most diva and influential single women in Equatorial Guinea. Some scenes take place in hotel rooms, houses, even the protagonist's office at the Ministry of Finance. A report on Ahora EG added. Equatorial Guinea's government has responded swiftly, suspending all officials involved in sexual activities within Ministry of offices. The vice president condemned these actions, stating they violate the country's code of conduct and public ethics laws. He reiterated the government's zero-tolerance policy for behavior that tarnishes the integrity of public service, stressing the need for ethics and respect. While Ngonga faces charges related to corruption, authorities have noted that consensual sexual acts do not constitute a crime unless coercion or violence is proven. However, the Attorney General has urged victims of sexual abuse to come forward, stressing the public health risks posed by such widespread sexual encounters. The scandal has sparked widespread outrage, which calls for stricter oversight of public officials. Now, I couldn't believe this man has a death wish. The wife of the president of the country. Now, now, mind you, most of these women were married. And this was one of the women that got caught, her husband confronting her. Okay, wait, actually, I'm going to read it. So it says, all right, so he says, how are you doing? She says, how are you doing, baby? So how do I look without being told anything now? I said, no, I came for an emergency. I even had to force myself into taking a plane ticket. We have been together since how many years? 6 years. How old is your child? I owe something. Wow, how did you get married? Yes, I owe you something. No. I didn't marry you. I was adopted. Everything in my life, you're the one who runs Tam's Baby Armor. You're the one who runs Litzy Fashion, Janae Fashion, and Exotic Ilishi. Do you have a problem with parking? What do I need to park here? Here, take this. Take off your glasses before watching that video. Now, this is what I mean, guys. Women, they have a tendency to use tears against you. So when we get caught doing something, we start crying. I'm telling you, you can't believe this nonsense. The only real tears we have are when we're alone. This is...
Enlève bien tes lunettes avant de voir la vidéo là. Retire, ne fais pas semblant avec moi. Regarde la vidéo. Tu te vois, non? Hein? T'as dit que je suis comme...
Okay, wait. What did he say? He said, watch it. Who is seeing you now? Did she say, that's how I am in Dubai on my house? In order for her brain...
Mes amis me disent que viens voir la liste
to see
des
the list of videos from Balth Hazard
de Balthazar à Kamba.
in Canberra.
Je ne peux pas imaginer
I can't imagine that you know this
que tu
guy,
connais ce gars, même dans mes rêves
even in my craziest dreams.
les plus fous. Donc,
So out of 400 videos, you made 3 by yourself.
sur 400 vidéos, tu as fait toi seul. Et tu lui dis qu'il te
And tell him to crack your ear.
l'oreille. Ce que tu m'as jamais dit à
What do you
moi.
want me to say?
Hein, Satan? Je
What
te
am
fais
I
quoi?
doing here? This man has a death wish. Oh my gosh. 400 tapes. He had sex with his bodyguard's wife. They might... They might Epstein him. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Anyways. All right. Next on the list. I guess Billy Ray has an issue with the red pill and making men hopeless. Okay, so and I'm going to do a whiteboard video to demonstrate my point.
Manosphere content is making men hopeless. Just a month ago, I would have identified myself as a Manosphere creator, believing it genuinely wanted to help men, calling out modern feminism, promoting masculinity, and empathizing with the struggles men face. Men are definitely facing serious issues that I and other creators are well aware of. But the Manosphere and its key figures have lost their way. Instead of addressing these issues with hopeful solutions, it's become a
Billy, if you're going to get triggered, I mean, put your money where your mouth is. Come on the show. We'll have a conversation about this.
non-stop dunk contest on women, where the absolute worst examples of what it means to be a woman are deceptively promoted as though they represent the average woman in modern society, which leads me to the most important point. You have to keep in mind that top creators are feeding an algorithm where negativity sells and their cause takes a backseat to their need to satisfy an audience. I have experienced this firsthand. I've posted reactionary content because I knew it would pull people in, but I stopped because this only drags viewers deeper into hopelessness. They stop thinking about the things they can improve and instead focus on the enemies highlighted by creators. This doesn't help men, it only leaves them angrier and more isolated. And if that wasn't enough, the angriest voices head to the comments section and create a groupthink trap where even level-headed men can lose hope, allowing a vocal minority to shape their views of women and dating. In reality,
Okay. This is what I call gaslighting. So all the men get together. Now, mind you, the red pill has existed before me, the Manosphere that's existed before me, or any of these new creators, right? And the men get together and say, this is a problem. And the women say, well, you're just being hopeless. And the men come back and they say, well, this is my experience dating. This has been reality for me. This is why men don't really like women in these spaces, because some of these answers aren't really fun. And I'm going to go through them on the whiteboard. We're going to make it super fun today. And this is just where the world's going. I can't really change it.
many men, short, fat, tall, skinny, paycheck to paycheck, wealthy, are living fulfilling lives with incredible women who love them. As of 2019, 61% of men aged 25 to 54 have partners.
Okay. Now, this is what, when you look outside, that's what it looks like on the outside. But the question is, do these relationships have a tendency to last? Well, I mean, this guy just got caught having sex with 400 women, the majority married. Okay, so what does that tell you, right? He was a married man, and there's at least 100, let's just say a quarter of them were married. That's 100 relationships where the women were cheating. And do we see a lot of 50-year and 40-year wedding anniversaries? Are you guys getting invited to weddings left and right? What does that tell us? What do the stats say? And I'm going to get to.
And I've got news for you. 61% of men those ages are not 6 feet tall.
Also, guys, hit the like button. Hit the like button.
Making 100K and looking like Thor. So the next time you're consuming this content, ask yourself, is this just a dopamine hit? A way to validate my victimhood? Or is it actually making me a better man? If it's only fueling bitterness, it might be time to seek content that actually helps you rather than just feeding your resentment.
Okay, so now this is the tone police. Now, here's the thing. Is it this camera? I'm guessing. Yeah, okay. So the average woman, we get to live like rock stars. Now, we very much take this for granted. Okay, we don't necessarily know. That's why you see men in like terrible working conditions. They never complain. But we have a tendency to complain. Now, why is that? Because we get to be 18, right? And this has been exacerbated with the internet. So this might not have been the case 20 years ago, but this isn't going away. It's here. So this is, let's just say she's graduated college. She's 21 in the city. So women, we have the option to go to concerts, trips, easier jobs, right? Because let's be honest, human resources, being an assistant, the top jobs for women don't tend to be as difficult as the ones for men. For example, being an electrician, a plumber, I mean, going on one of those boats and getting oysters, that's pretty, I mean, when 1 out of 100 people dies, I would say that's pretty bad work conditions, but the teachers are striking. So women, we don't have any idea how good, and Americans in general, let's just be honest, but we don't have any idea how good we have it. And if I look at the trends of society, I see men and women going apart. There is no data that indicates we're going to go together. Now, does this mean you can't be the exception? I hope you are. But if we look at political data of men and women, the women are going more left, the men are going more right. If you poll Gen Z women and we say, where do you rank men as a priority to you? The Gen Z women, they say 7th. Even women over 30, they say 4th. Sadly enough, I don't think this is a good thing, right? And the women, we rank travel. I mean, we rank that higher than family. So women, like we say, women, do you want to get married, have some babies? And we say, nah, let's travel, go on trips, concerts. And there's TikToks of women admitting to this. They say it on camera. Then I look at the marriage rate. Now the age of first marriage is going up. The rate of people getting married is going down, down, down. And divorce rate is going up, right? Anecdotally, we don't really get invited to weddings like we used to. Let me see my other notes on this. Oh, right. Then we see, women like this have a tendency to want me to not see data, right? So I'll see in Houston, there's a syphilis epidemic. So then, all of this stuff, right? STD rates are going up. Women go on podcasts and talk about body count and how that's going up, right? And they tell all these crazy sex stories. Now, everybody gaslights me and says, well, not all women are like that. Sure. But the trends, where do they start? First, you start seeing stuff online, then it goes to the city, then it goes to the country, right? It takes a little bit, but the issue is attractive women have a tendency to move to the city. And I would see this on my show. I mean, there'd be a woman from a small town in Wisconsin or a small town in Wyoming, and they would be in LA or they would be in Miami. They move. Why? Because the city offers them all of this fun stuff. So the birth rate is declining, and it's declining like crazy. And it's going down to 1.5 kids last I checked. And we see this happening anywhere. And I don't see any data that indicates that it's going to go up anytime soon. So what does that tell us for the future? Where did I put this white? Oh, it's right here. So what does that tell me for the future? That tells me there's going to be living spaces for women, community. I think somehow the men will probably pay for it, right? You kind of see this in nursing homes already, right? Then I think the birth rate will keep going down because that's what all the data says. Oh, wait, birth rate is going to go down. So we'll probably go to like South Korea, which is like 0.5. So the last 2 generations, only, I wonder if I have it in this notes. I can't remember the percentage of millennials that are getting married, but it's lower than the generation before, so I can assume that there'll be less marriage in the next generation, and that the average length of marriage will keep going down because all the numbers will tell you the more promiscuous the women are, the worse the marriage rate will become. All of the media that I see is telling me, and the STD rates, because women can lie, but STD rates cannot. So that tells me that, well, women are more promiscuous than ever. So all of the data indicates that because since the sexual revolution, it's all done. Family isn't coming back, marriage isn't coming back, and the future is just going to look different. Now, I don't say this as a happy, I think this is tough for people to accept, but as CGA says, hope is not a strategy. So I think you kind of got to know what's coming to figure out how to deal with this. So if you're a woman and you get married, right, you got to know that sex work is going to become more out in the open. So I'll tell you my personal experience. Before, like 5 years ago, I'd never really met a sex worker that I knew of, right? I didn't know any in my normal life. Then I moved to London. I obviously did the show, and so I would meet sex workers through that, but I thought, oh, it's just the podcast. But then I noticed in the city, I would go to a gym that was like nearby, and this was a normal area. It wasn't anything crazy. And because I worked out during the day, I would see other people that made content. And there were actually a lot of people that did sex work. Then I start watching other shows like Financial Audit, and randomly they bring on sex workers. And it's starting. Then I noticed in politics, there are women that are running that used to do cam work. So what does all of that data tell me? Sex work is going to become more out in the open and more readily available. I don't know if we're in Sodom and Gomorrah or whatever they call it. Maybe that's what we're in, but this is what's likely going to happen. And this is what all the trends indicate. But I don't mean it to be doom and gloom. Maybe the women all living together have a great time. Maybe it's amazing. I don't know. Maybe the guys are happier without us anyway. Maybe they're like, you know what? I don't have to deal with the nagging, and I can just buy a 21-year-old for $49.99, good enough for me. Or I can just have a girlfriend that leaves me every 5 years and then get a younger one. Okay, good with me. Or maybe I can go get a girl pregnant. It's kind of sad when you talk about it, but this is where everything's going, right? Okay. And they're like, Pearl, what's your solution? Well, what do you want me to do about let me reverse the birth control pill to fix the birth rate. Let me change. There are things you could do that would be a start, right? Maybe you could make the marriage laws a little bit more favorable to men. That could be a start. I don't know a good strategy to get women to stop doing sex work. Women really love it. You saw that woman on the show. Good luck taking that away. That's really all I got. The birth rate. I think the only thing you could really do about the birth rate is, one, get the economy a little bit better. IVF, because I just really don't see the women stopping this party. I don't see it. And you guys got to put yourself in the women's point of view. Are most men going to not do the rock star lifestyle? But I'm open to suggestions in the chat. I'll see what you guys are saying. Buy stocks and cat food. Yeah, okay. So now a lot of men, they say, well, let's just go and do it the Afghanistan way. They just said women can't talk and that women can't drive and vote. And please don't quote me on that. I don't know exactly what their system is. Well, that's an option. Do you guys think that's plausible in the near future? Do you think that's going to happen. Like we can go from rock star lifestyle to they have to wear burqas. I don't know. Good luck. Anyways. Now, I always try to say it with a happy face because just because the world's crashing and burning doesn't mean that your world has to crash and burn. But you know, I think you can still have a great life regardless, but I mean, these are things you got to prepare for. How will you explain to your kid what OnlyFans is? Right? Because your kids are going to be exposed to this stuff sooner than you want them to be. So what's your strategy if you even have a kid? Because for the men, there's no choice there. That's all women. We're 100% in control of who's born. So yeah, you know, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. Now, is it possible that everything will just decline and then women will need men again and it'll go back to normal? Maybe. Do I think that may happen in my lifetime? In the next 10 years, I don't see it. 20 years, I don't see it. 30, maybe. But by that point, I'm like old anyway. So, you know, I'm really just documenting the decline. Okay, so now Aaron Clary responded to Billy and said, "Madam, there was no algorithm. When you were 3, the rational male and I were posting this stuff on the blogs because that's what men were experiencing. It's real, it's authentic. Women's behavior drove this. Women need to change if you want the sexes to get along again. Oh, and I forgot, we're also getting fatter. And I don't, maybe Ozempic will, I don't see us working out again. Okay, now Myron responded and said, "This is why I tell you guys, female opinions are completely irrelevant in this area. They have zero idea what's going on. 60% of men in relationships, yeah. How many of them do the men control the frame and aren't in a miserable existence with their wife where they can lose it all if she divorces them?" And it's interesting because women always want men to open up about their feelings. And when they do, they say, "You're just a doomer. You're just..." Okay, so I have a couple other stories, but I think I'm going to save them for tomorrow. But I want to get to Tim Pool. Oh, this link isn't working. Oh, wait, now it should. Okay, so Tim Pool. I want to show you how comfortable our society is with shaming men for not voting. And the best way that I've noticed that conservatives have in trying to get men to do something is telling them they're not real men and they're not good enough. So men run the entire infrastructure of this country. If you look at infrastructure jobs like building the buildings, paving the roads, keeping the electricity on, men do the majority of it. Even if we look at things like, say, Uber drivers, taxi drivers, and maybe some of truck drivers, transportation in general, all of that stuff men do. In fact, if we only had females working, it would be the economy of a third world country. This is not an opinion. This is facts, okay? And yet still constantly we're telling men they're not good enough. But the thing about men is they're going to start asking, what's in it for me? At some point. And Tim Pool said, people who say repeal the 19th say that because too many men are weak and lazy. And what's interesting about this is Tim is a podcaster. So how is Tim going to call the average men in this country that keep the lights on, that keep the buildings running, that get us the food that we eat, that do all of the jobs that built the microphone that, like, how dare you? How dare you call the men in this country and say that too many are weak and lazy when you are a podcast? Like, I want to do a hierarchy of jobs. I want to go back. So if we're going to do a hierarchy of jobs and say these jobs are the hardest and these jobs are the easiest, this is what I think, and you guys are welcome to put some input in. So if I did the bottom, now the bottom is the easiest, the top is the hardest. So on the bottom, I'm going to put reporter, YouTuber. Now, what I'm not saying is that these are competitive fields, right? Definitely competitive. But in terms of it being as grueling and hard day to day, I can't put it at the same thing as, say, I'm going to put a construction. Construction. Wait, what is stroke? Okay, please excuse my spelling. Now, I've never done any of these jobs. Maybe you got to get Mike Rowe, so I don't know. But I'd put plumber up here. What are the fishing boats called? What are those called? You know? Yeah. Is that the ones where they die? Yeah, okay. So I would say crab fishers. That's the top. Plumbers, construction, builders. Oh, yeah, miners. Here above YouTuber, I'm going to put barista. What? What do you think, barista's the same as a YouTube? Down? I mean, I think this is way more fun than a barista, so I'm putting them above us, but okay, maybe. All right, maybe I'm going to look at the chat and see what the guys say. Oh, oil rig can go at the top. Okay, we're going to put this here. Demolition. You got, where's military? Would you say military is as hard as the plumber, builder, or is it below, above? Above? Really? I don't know. I've never been. So would you put it at oil rig level? Lower than that? But it's above, you think it's harder than construction? Okay. I'm gonna, all right, guys, I'm gonna have to redo this a little bit. So, oh my gosh. What makes the military worse? What? I don't actually know. Okay, but all right, military's up there and then construction. Is it because you're stuck? Like if you have a bad construction job, you can leave? And that, yeah, okay. And the military, if it's bad, you can't. Okay, builders, plumbers, woodwork. Shauna of the Dead says, male therapist listening to female clients. No, I can't put that up there. Okay, guys. Okay. Guys, let me know in the chat. Is a construction worker, what's worse, okay? Being a construction worker or a male therapist that has to listen to female clients? Put 1 if you think the construction worker, 2 for therapist. Okay. I'm going to put barista, food. I don't know, a chef. I mean, I'm sure a chef is harder than a YouTuber. Like I would, but I got to keep it in general, so don't. Oh my gosh. We're they're all putting a male therapist. You guys are just saying that cuz it's funny. You guys okay. Okay, where is the Uber driver? Uber driver above YouTuber, right? I think in the city that's got to be above. Because in the city you're picking up drunk people. I mean, sometimes I used to take Ubers a lot and I would ask them questions and some of them would have horror stories. Like one guy said he had got a gun pulled out on him. I'm like, oh. Mechanics, equipment operators. Okay, but you guys see what I'm saying. Let's say operator. I'm not going to go too in depth on this chart. I've just seen 1 or 2 for these ones. Like sales. Sales I'm going to put down here, even though it is worse than being a YouTuber, but it's the same category. You see Uber driver. So anyway, so this guy, this guy has a skate park at work. I went to his studio. He literally can take breaks during the day to roller skate. And he's telling the crab fishers, the men in the military, on the oil. Can you imagine being a man in the military and coming back and being told that you're weak and lazy because after a 12-hour shift, you didn't want to go vote? Or construction, build, whatever it is. It's like, a sanitary sewer cleaner. I'll put politician here. I don't know, but I don't want to spend a ton of time on this today. We could do a different day if you guys like it, but and I just couldn't believe it. I was like, how dare you? And then the crazy thing is they're like, men are weak. Men are so weak. They're not real men. The men, if they were just man enough, society would be better. If they were just man enough, we could stop these women from being whores. And I'm like, and then the men, all year I've been like, hey guys, maybe we should try to appeal to men's issues, paternity fraud, divorce court reform. I don't know, anything? And they're like, nah, we're good on that. They're weak and lazy. We know they'll come out. And when the men don't come out, which we don't even know, it's not, done yet. If they choose not to, I can't really be surprised. Many masculine guys they just say, let it crash and burn, because what are we giving them in return? So you say to an average guy, hey, do these hard jobs in society. Do they give them recognition? Are they treated like celebrities the way women are? No. Do they get a lot of cool opportunities? No. Do they get women? Do they get a wife, kids? No. There has to be some incentive here. But I don't see nagging men. Like, it's like the only way we know how to appeal to men is nagging them. It's, you're not a real man. You're not good enough. Get out and vote. It's never, thank you for doing the hard jobs of this country. Thank you so much for keeping the lights on. This is what we can do to earn your vote. So we have a tweet here that says decades of telling young men that they were not good enough to sacrifice. Sorry. Decades of telling young men that they were not good enough to sacrifice more and to man down. And now all of a sudden you want us to man up and vote. We got Ashley St. Clair saying getting men to vote is the single most important turnout battle for the next 24 hours. The redheaded libertarian, gentlemen, this is your 1776 moment. My message to men, they can call you a Nazi, they can call you deplorable, they can call you garbage, but don't give them the pleasure of calling you a beta male who didn't get out and vote. Men, we need you on election day. Female voters currently outnumber male voters. The fate of our democracy is in your hands. Get out and vote. So I want to explain how a lot of guys are going to see this. So these women are influencers, right? Now, now, not judging, you know, I do the same thing, but it's like the person here is nagging the person up here. The average, the normal guys that do the difficult jobs that keep this country running. And they're saying, go vote. And the guys up here are saying, well, what are you going to give us? They're like, well, I mean, don't worry about that. And they're like, but look at my selfie. Look at this selfie should inspire you guys. Now, maybe it will. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, that's what's going on. So that's why I think that young men may not vote, but Trump is pretty cool. So we'll see. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Please like the video on your way out and subscribe to the channel. Please ring that notification bell and let me know what you'd like me to cover next time on Pearl Daily. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm out.